The great hall was cold. Winter feast should have brought warmth. Instead, tension, silence, fear. Warlord Bjorn the Cruel held court. 50 warriors at tables, drinking loud, boasting louder, dangerous men, killers, raiders, men who took what they wanted, burned what they didn't, laughed at consequences. And one in the corner, alone, silent, gray hair, weathered face, 60 winters maybe, nobody, nothing, just old wanderer, staff in hand, bowl of stew, existing, invisible, forgotten. Helga the breadmaker brought ale, 70 winters old, kind face, tired hands, 40 years feeding this village, this hall, these people, respected, loved, safe, until Warlord Bjorn grabbed her arm, hard, cruel. Too slow, old hag. What's wrong? Bones brittle? Mind fading? Or just too ancient to serve proper men? His warriors laughed. Cruel laughter, predator laughter, laughter that came from men who'd never been stopped, never been challenged, never been made to answer. Helga pulled away. Please, I'll bring more. Just please. Please, Bjorn mocked. Please. Old crone begging. Pathetic. You're pathetic. This whole village is pathetic. Weak, soft, deserves everything we take, everything we burn. Sound cut through mockery, through laughter, through everything. Staff striking floor. Once, twice, 3 times. Each strike like thunder, like warning, like promise. The old wanderer had risen, still silent, still looking at his stew, not at Bjorn, not at warriors, just at the staff. 3 strikes, 3 warnings, 3 chances given. Bjorn turned. What's that supposed to mean, old man? Silence. Long silence. Terrible silence. Then the wanderer spoke. Voice quiet, calm, deadly. 3 strikes, 3 warnings, 1 for mercy, 1 for wisdom, 1 for survival. Choose now. Leave her alone. Leave this hall, leave this village, or learn why wolves don't bow, why storms don't kneel, why some men never bent. Not to kings, not to gods, not to warlords who mistake cruelty for strength. Bjorn laughed. You threatening me? You? But something in the old man's eyes stopped him. Something cold, something ancient, something that had seen death, had delivered death, had been death, and Bjorn the Cruel, killer of 40 men, burner of 7 villages, suddenly felt uncertain, felt fear, felt that maybe this old wanderer in the corner wasn't nobody, wasn't nothing, was something, something terrible, something they just awakened, something about to remind 50 fools that some men retire from war. But war never retires from them. But before you find out what happens next, if you're enjoying this story, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, make sure to join Red Chapter. Comment what country you're listening from. I love seeing how these Viking tales travel the world. Now stay with me till the end, because what's coming will surprise you. Bjornstad, Northern Shores, winter of 1047. The mead hall served villagers, travelers, traders. Occasionally, unfortunately, warlords. Today was unfortunate day. Bjorn the Cruel arrived at midday. 50 men, 50 shields, 50 reputations, known for violence, for cruelty, for taking what they wanted. Nobody stopped them. Jarls were distant. Justice was myth. Power was reality. They had swords, had numbers, had willingness. That was enough. Erik the Broken sat in corner, same bench, same position. 15 years, every day, same stew, same silence, same invisibility. He'd arrived in Bjornstad in 1032, after retiring, after hanging up his axe, after deciding 55 winters was enough killing, enough death, enough being Varulfr, the wolf. He just wanted peace, wanted quiet, wanted anonymity, wanted to be nobody, be nothing, be forgotten. And he'd succeeded. 15 years and nobody asked questions. Nobody recognized his face. Nobody connected quiet old wanderer with legendary Varulfr, the Wolf of Uppsala, who killed 83 men in 32 years, who never retreated, never hesitated, never left survivors. Varulfr, appropriate name because he hunted like wolf, silent, patient, deadly, was myth, legend, story told around fires. Not man present, not man real, not man sitting in corner eating stew, watching Helga serve food. Helga was good woman, kind, respectful, reminded Erik of his mother, dead 50 winters, reminded him of humanity, of decency, of what people could be when world let them. She served everyone equally, rich, poor, good, bad, just served, just smiled, just made days slightly better. The village loved her. Erik respected her. That respect mattered more than people knew, more than Warlord would understand, more than 50 fools were about to learn, because when Bjorn grabbed Helga's arm, when he mocked her, when he made her afraid, something shifted in corner, in shadow, in quiet old man who wasn't quite man anymore, was becoming wolf again, reluctantly, necessarily. Finally. "Get me more ale, hag," Bjorn demanded, "and faster this time, unless your ancient bones can't move, unless you're too decrepit, too useless." She's doing her best, Erik said. Quiet, from corner. First words he'd spoken aloud in weeks, maybe months, voice rusty, but firm, calm, dangerous. The warriors turned, saw old man, gray hair, weathered face, simple clothes, staff, nobody, nothing. Threat assessment 0. "Did we ask you, Grandpa?" Ragnar Bloodeye said, sneering, confident, stupid. "Did we invite your words?" "Did we?" "No," Erik interrupted. "But I'm giving them anyway. Leave her alone. Drink your ale. Move on. Simple, easy, healthy." Olaf the Tall laughed. "Big man, slow mind, fast fists. Healthy? You threatening us? Old man alone against 50? That's not healthy. That's death wish." Erik stood slowly, staff in hand, walking to their table, each step measured. Professional, predatory, promising, not threatening, Erik said. "There's difference. Threat is maybe. Promise is certain. I'm promising. You touch her again. You insult her again. You make her uncomfortable. Again. You die. All 50. Here. Now. Today. That's not threat. That's promise. That's certainty. That's what happens when fools awaken things better left sleeping." He reached their table, stood close, too close for comfort, too close for drawing weapons, close enough to see their eyes, to smell their fear starting, to feel their certainty crumbling. "You know why I don't bow?" Erik asked, voice quiet, eyes meeting Bjorn's. "Because I learned early. Bowing breaks spine, makes you weak, makes you pray. I never bowed to jarls, never bowed to kings, never bowed to Odin himself when I saw him in Uppsala temple, covered in blood of men I'd killed. Odin looked at me. I looked back. Equal, wolf to Allfather, and even he, even Odin, stepped aside. Let me pass, didn't demand respect, didn't demand bow, because gods recognize when man is beyond demanding, beyond controlling, beyond anything except killing." Bjorn stared, studied the old man, studied the staff, studied the situation, 50 against 1. Should be easy, should be certain, should be victory. But something in old man's eyes, but something ancient and cold and absolutely certain in posture. Something that said, "I've done this 83 times. 84 through 133 would be easy. Would be simple, would be afternoon entertainment. Ivar the Young, smartest of warriors." Stared at Erik. At way he stood, way his hands positioned on staff, way his weight balanced, way his eyes calculated everything. Something clicking in memory. The staff, the stance, the gray hair, the scar across left eye. Faint, old, familiar. "Wait," Ivar whispered. "That scar, that balance, that you're him, you're Varulfr, the wolf, the legend, the myth, the—" "Dead," Erik interrupted. "Varulfr died 15 years ago, retired, disappeared, became nobody, became nothing, became man in corner eating stew. That's who I am. That's all I am. Unless you force different, unless you make Wolf return, unless you awaken what should stay sleeping. Your choice. Walk away from Helga, walk away from Hall, walk away from Bjornstad, or make me remember, make me become, make me kill. I don't want to, haven't wanted to for 15 years, but I will if necessary, if you force, if you leave no choice. Bjorn studied Erik, studied the staff, studied 50 warriors behind him. 50 swords, 50 axes. 50 men who'd killed, who'd raided, who'd burned. Should be enough, should be certain, should be overwhelming. But Ivar's recognition, but old man's eyes, but something that said numbers don't matter. Weapons don't matter. Youth doesn't matter. Only skill matters. Only experience matters. Only willingness to die while killing matters. And this old man, this Varulfr, had that willingness, had that certainty, had that absolute lack of fear that came from seeing Valhalla's gates, from walking through them, from coming back, from knowing death intimately, from being friend with end. You're bluffing, Bjorn said. But voice wavered, but certainty cracked. But hand didn't move toward sword, didn't dare, didn't want to test. Test it, Erik said. Simple, calm, final. Draw, see what happens. See if old means slow. See if retired means unable. See if 15 years of peace erased 32 years of war. Test it, please. I'm curious too. Curious if I still have it. Still remember. Still? He smiled. Cold smile, wolf smile, death smile. Still never miss. Still never leave survivors. Still never stop until everyone who drew is dead. Test it. Please. I missed the certainty. Silence held. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Nobody tested. Because something in that smile, something in those eyes, something in way staff held said testing was dying. Drawing was suicide. Forcing Wolf was fatal. And Bjorn the Cruel, for first time in his violent life, chose survival over pride, chose walking over testing, chose living over learning if legend was real. We're leaving, Bjorn said. Standing, hands visible, non-threatening. Survival instinct overriding ego. No trouble, no fight. Just leaving. That acceptable? Erik said nothing, just watched, just calculated, just remembered how many times men said they'd leave, then attacked while turning, then tried ambush, then died anyway. 83 times taught. Trust nothing. Believe nobody. Watch until gone, until miles away, until certainly, absolutely. Finally departed. The warriors stood slowly, carefully, hands away from weapons, moving toward door, toward exit, toward escape, toward survival. But Thorstein the reckless, hothead, fool, young and stupid and proud. Thorstein's hand twitched toward axe. Slight twitch, barely visible. But Erik saw, Wolf saw, death saw. Don't, Erik said, not loud, not threatening, just certain. Don't make me, don't force this. Don't turn walk into run into hunt, hunt into grave. Just leave. Let me stay nobody. Let Wolf stay sleeping. Let peace continue. Please. Thorstein's hand stopped, hovered, considered. Pride versus survival. Ego versus instinct. Reputation versus reality. His hand chose reality. Chose survival. Chose walking. Moved away from axe. Toward door. Toward escape. 50 men walked out into snow. Toward horses. Toward departure. Toward living. Helga exhaled. Didn't realize she'd been holding breath. Entire hall exhaled. Tension released. Death avoided. Peace maintained. Erik returned to corner. Sat. Ate stew. Hand trembling slightly. Not from fear, from relief, from gratitude, from joy that Wolf could stay sleeping. That 83 remained 83. That 15 years of peace survived. That Helga was safe. That nobody died today? That maybe Varulfr really was dead. really could stay buried, really could let Erik live quiet, anonymous, peaceful, but he kept staff close, within reach, ready, warning, promise to anyone watching, anyone considering, anyone thinking old man was easy, was weak, was helpless. Staff said different, said Wolf lived, said peace, was conditional, said test it and die, simple, certain, absolute. Village was silent. Everyone had witnessed, everyone understood. Old man in corner wasn't old man, was legend, was wolf, was killer of 83 who chose mercy today, chose warning over execution, chose peace over reputation. But could choose different, would choose different if pushed, if necessary, if Helga threatened again. She approached his table, trembling, crying, grateful, thank you, thank you. They would have hurt me, would have... They're gone, Erik said. Gentle, human, not wolf, just man, just tired man who defended friend. You're safe, that's what matters. They won't return, won't risk it, won't test. They'll spread word. Varulfr lives in Bjornstad. Stay away. Leave old man alone. Leave Helga alone. Message will spread. Northlands will know. You'll be safer for a while. Until memory fades. Until new fools arrive. Until... He stopped. Didn't want to think about until. About inevitability. About how peace never lasted. How Wolf never truly died. How past always returned. Always demanded. Always reminded. Helga touched his hand. Who are you? Really? Nobody, Erik said. Just old wanderer eating stew. That's all. That's enough. That's what I need to be. What I've been 15 years. What I want to stay. Nobody important. Nobody dangerous. Nobody except traveler who pays well and bothers nobody. Can I? Can I stay that? Can village forget what happened? Can I go back to being invisible? Yes, Helga lied. Kindly, gently, knowing it was lie, knowing everyone would remember, knowing old man in corner was now old legend in corner, was wolf, forever, until death or departure, probably death, because legends didn't get anonymity, didn't get peace, didn't get retirement, only got tested, only got challenged, only got forced to prove legends were real, over and over, until finally. Finally legend died, really died, permanently died. Erik knew she lied, appreciated attempt, ate his stew, looked at staff against wall. 83 promises kept, 83 deaths delivered, 83 reasons sleep was difficult, wondered how long until he regretted mercy, until spared men returned, until staff needed using, until Wolf needed waking, until 83 became 84, became 90, became 100, until Erik died, as Varulfr, as Wolf, as legend unable to escape. 4 days later, Bjorn's warriors returned, not to haul, to ambush, to revenge, to pride demanding satisfaction. Bjorn had thought, had planned, had realized. Varulfr was legend, but legend was old, was alone, was outnumbered. Numbers mattered. Surprise mattered. Killing from distance mattered. Fair fight was suicide. Unfair fight was smart. Was survival. Was victory. They positioned themselves around village, 10 angles, 10 bows, waiting for old man to emerge, to walk home, to be vulnerable, to die without glory, without fight, without proving anything except old men die when shot from ambush. Simple. Plan. Coward's plan. Smart plan. Erik felt them. Instinct screaming. Danger close. Death waiting. Ambush prepared. He didn't leave hall. Didn't walk into trap. Stayed inside. Thinking. Calculating. Remembering how Wolf operated. How Wolf survived. How Wolf turned prey into predator. How hunted became hunter. Old skills. Rusty skills. But returning. Sharpening. Preparing. He spoke to Helga, quiet, calm, instructive. 10 men outside, positioned, waiting, planning ambush. I need you to do something, something dangerous, something necessary. Can you? Helga nodded, trusted him, believed him, would do anything. What? Leave normally, like closing, lock door. Walk home. They'll ignore you. They want me. Only me. When you're safe? When you're home? Light candle in window. Signal. That's when I move. When I... He paused. Didn't want to say it. Didn't want to become it. But had to. Had to survive. Had to protect. Had to be wolf. When I hunt? When I kill. When I prove mercy was mistake. That giving chance was error. That 83 should have become 93 4 days ago. Should have ended this before it continued. Before it escalated. Before it forced Wolf to wake completely. Finally. Lethally. Helga left. Walked home. Trembling. Praying. Hoping, old man. Hoping, Wolf. Survived. Lit candle. Signal given. And in hall. Erik the Broken stopped being man. Became weapon. Became hunter. Became wolf. 83 would become 93. Tonight, in darkness, in silence, in manner befitting name. Wolf hunting, wolf killing. Wolf reminding Northlands why legends were legends, why myths were myths, why some men never stopped being dangerous, just stopped showing it, until forced, until necessary, until 10 fools gave no choice. Erik exited through back, silent, invisible, wolf-like. He'd planned this 15 years ago, when choosing corner bench, when memorizing exits, when preparing for inevitability. For a moment when past caught up, when retirement ended, when Wolf returned. He knew their positions, had felt them, had calculated. 10 men, 10 locations, predictable, professional, fatal for them. First was Ragnar Bloodeye, position north, rooftop, good vantage, poor escape. Erik climbed, silent. Years of practice, decades of killing, muscle memory perfect, reached roof. Ragnar never heard, never turned, never knew. Until knife entered throat, silent kill, professional kill, wolf kill. No sound made, no alarm raised. 1 down, 9 remaining. Second was Olaf the Tall, east position, ground level, big target, slow reaction. Erik approached from behind, shadow among shadows. Olaf heard nothing, felt nothing, until wire-wrapped neck, garrote, silent, brutal, effective. Olaf thrashed, 30 heartbeats, then still, then dead. 2 down, 7 remaining. Third was Torstein the Reckless, south position, window overlooking hall entrance. Erik entered building, climbed stairs, quiet, patient, reached room. Torstein was focused, watching, waiting, not watching behind. Fatal error. Erik's axe rose, pressed against Torstein's skull. Mercy was mistake, Erik whispered. Crack, Torstein fell, silent except 1 impact. Alarm raised, 3 dead, 7 remaining. 7 alerted, 7 knowing Wolf was hunting, 7 running, 7 dying. Soon. Ivar the Young and 6 others heard impact. Knew plan failed, knew Wolf was active, knew they were hunted. They ran toward horses, toward escape, toward survival. But Wolf was faster, was smarter, was motivated, had cut their horses loose, had prepared, had ensured no escape, no departure, no survival. Only choice was fight, face Wolf, die with honor, or die running, die as cowards, die regardless. They chose fighting, stupid choice, brave choice, final choice, drew weapons, turned, faced darkness, faced silence, faced nothing visible. Until Erik emerged. Staff in one hand, axe in other, walking toward them, calm, certain. Death approaching, 7 against 1, should be advantage, should be victory, should be survival. But Wolf didn't fight fair, didn't fight honorable, fought to win, fought to kill, fought like predator against prey. Staff swept, broke knee, man fell, axe followed, split skull, 4 down, 6 remaining. They surrounded him, attacked together. Smart tactic, coordinated tactic, useless tactic, because Erik had fought surrounded before, had fought outnumbered before, had won before, 83 times before. This was familiar, this was comfortable, this was home. He moved like water, like wind, like wolf. Staff blocking, axe cutting, feet positioning, always moving, never still, never target, always threat, always death approaching. Another man fell, throat crushed, 5 down, 5 remaining. Another, chest caved, 6 down, 4 remaining. Another, spine broken, 7 down, 3 remaining. Ivar and 2 others, best warriors, smartest fighters, most skilled, stood back to back, breathing hard, bleeding, afraid, facing legend, facing wolf, facing death inevitable. "We yield," Ivar said, desperate, hopeful, foolish. "We surrender. We'll leave. We'll never return. We'll—" 83 men yielded, Erik said, voice cold, empty, wolf speaking, not man. 83 men begged. 83 men promised they'd leave, they'd change, they'd be better. All 83 lied. All 83 died anyway. You chose this, chose ambush, chose breaking word, chose waking wolf. Now you die with others. Die learning legends are real. Die adding to count. He moved, fast, faster than old man should move, faster than they expected, faster than they could react. Staff, axe, death, 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 8, 9, 10, silence. Except Erik breathing, hard, old lungs working, old heart pounding, old body remembering it was old, was tired, was approaching end. But not yet, not today, not while enemies lived, not while threats existed, not while wolf was needed. 10 bodies lay in snow, 10 men who chose wrong, who tested wrong legend, who woke wrong wolf, who died learning. Erik the Broken, Varulfr, the Wolf of Uppsala. Wasn't broken, wasn't retired, wasn't finished, was just waiting. Between kills, between wars, between moments when world demanded death, when justice required blood, when survival meant becoming monster again. He felt nothing. No guilt, no regret, no satisfaction, just emptiness. Same emptiness as 83 times before. Same void that came from killing, from being good at killing, from being weapon instead of man, from being wolf instead of Erik. That emptiness was familiar, was old companion, was reminder that some people weren't meant for peace, weren't meant for quiet, weren't meant for retirement, were meant for violence, for death, for delivering justice when gods wouldn't, when gods couldn't, when only blood answered. He dragged bodies, one by one, to wagon, covered them, would take them to Jarl, would explain, would justify, would prove self-defense, would prove ambush, would prove they forced, they initiated, they died because they chose dying, chose testing, chose not believing legend, chose learning hard way that Varulfr was real, was deadly, was still, even at 60, even after 15 years, even after claiming retirement, absolute, final, certain, Jarl would understand, would accept, would close matter, no charges, no trial, no consequences, except internal, except wait, except carrying 10 more faces, 10 more ghosts, 10 more reasons sleep was difficult. Peace was impossible. Retirement was myth. Because Wolf never retired, Wolf just waited. Between kills, between necessity, between moments when world forced his return, his awakening, his reminder. And now Bjornstad knew, Northlands knew, world knew, Varulfr lived. Varulfr was real. Varulfr was in Bjornstad. And that knowledge, that legend confirmed, would attract, would challenge, would bring more fools, more tests, more blood, more deaths, more proof that some men couldn't escape past, couldn't retire from killing, couldn't be nobody, could only be wolf, forever, until death, until finally. Finally someone faster arrived, someone better, someone who put wolf to rest, permanently, mercifully, finally. Jarl Magnus arrived, dawn, saw wagon, saw bodies, saw Erik sitting, waiting, calm, ready to explain, ready to justify, ready to face consequences if any existed. Varulfr, Magnus said, not question, statement, recognition, acceptance. He'd suspected 15 years, suspecting quiet wanderer who moved too well, who positioned too perfectly, who saw too much, was more than nobody, was legend, was myth made man, was Varulfr living anonymous, until forced to prove himself, until 10 fools made him remember, made him act, made him add 10 to 83. They ambushed, Erik said. Simple, direct, honest. I gave warning, gave chance, gave mercy 4 days ago, told them leave Helga alone, leave Bjornstad. They left, then returned. Planned ambush, 10 positions, 10 bows, waited for me. I defended. I survived. They didn't. Self-defense, legal, justified. But he paused, looked at 10 bodies, at faces already fading, already becoming numbers, becoming statistics, becoming ghosts among 83 others. But I'm done with Bjornstad, done with peace that isn't peace, done with retirement that isn't retirement, done with trying to be nobody when everybody learns I'm Wolf. I'm leaving, today, now, before more come, before more test, before more die. I'm tired. Tired of killing. Tired of being Wolf. Tired of carrying 93 and counting. Just tired. So I'm leaving. Finding somewhere nobody knows, nobody recognizes, nobody connects quiet wanderer with legendary Wolf. Somewhere I can die anonymous, die peaceful, die as Erik instead of Varulfr, if such place exists, if such peace is possible, if such mercy is available. Magnus nodded. Understood. Where will you go? Don't know, Erik said. Honest, just away, far, anonymous. Somewhere legends don't reach, somewhere past doesn't follow, somewhere Wolf can finally die. And stay dead? Luck, Magnus said. Knowing luck wouldn't help. Knowing past always followed. Knowing Wolf never died, never stopped, never found peace, only found new villages, new corners, new halls, new breadmakers, new warlords, new tests, new bodies, new numbers added to 93. Until age killed what swords couldn't, until time finished what legend survived, until Wolf became actual Wolf, dead, forgotten, peace. Erik packed, didn't have much, clothes, staff, axe, memories, life reduced to pack, to horse, to departure. He said goodbye to Helga, quiet goodbye, grateful goodbye, final goodbye. Thank you, she said, for defending me, for being Wolf, for being hero, not hero. Erik corrected, gentle, firm, true, just killer, professional killer, retired killer, forced killer. 93 men dead by my hand. That's not hero, that's survivor, that's weapon, that's Wolf. And Wolf isn't hero, is necessary evil, is violence answering violence, is death delivered when needed, but not hero, never hero, just tired old man trying to stop being Wolf, trying to find peace, trying to die quiet instead of loud, trying to be Erik instead of legend. That's all, that's enough, that's what I need. Helga kissed his forehead. You'll always be hero to me, always be man who defended, who protected, who cared enough to kill for. That's hero, regardless of number, regardless of past, regardless of Wolf. Your hero, mine, this village's. Thank you. Erik mounted horse, rode south, toward warmer lands, toward somewhere, toward nowhere, toward next village, next corner, next hall, next 15 years maybe, next peace attempted, next failure expected, next moment when Wolf would wake, would kill, would add to 93, would prove retirement was myth, was impossible, was dream denied to men like him, to men who killed 83, to men who became Wolf, to men who never stopped being. Dangerous, just stopped showing it, until forced, until necessary, until inevitable. He looked back once, saw Bjornstad fading, saw Helga waving, saw life he couldn't have, peace he couldn't keep, anonymity he couldn't maintain. Then looked forward, toward horizon, toward future uncertain, toward death eventual, toward peace possible. Maybe, someday, somewhere, but probably not. Probably Wolf rode forever. Probably legend never died. Probably Erik the Broken would die as Varulfr, would die defending, would die killing, would die adding final numbers to 93, would die proving legends were real, were dangerous, were incapable of peace, were sentenced to violence, forever, until blade, until arrow, until age, until something, anything. Finally put Wolf to rest, finally let Erik be, finally granted mercy he'd never given, never received, never deserved maybe, but desperately wanted, desperately needed, desperately hoped existed. Somewhere, someday, for someone like him. 5 years later, new village, Hedeby, Denmark, different hall, same corner, same bench, same stew, same hope, same failure, because 3 weeks in, someone recognized him. Old raider, fought alongside Varulfr in Swedish campaigns 40 years ago. Remembered face, remembered skill, remembered legend, told story, told everyone, told village, and village changed. People stared, people whispered, people pointed. Quiet wanderer became legend in corner, became wolf, became man who killed 93, became dangerous, became attraction, became problem. Young warriors came, testing, challenging, proving. 4 in first 2 months, drew on Wolf. Died learning Wolf was real, was fast, was absolute. 94, 95, 96, 97. 4 more added, 4 more failures, 4 more proofs that peace was impossible, that retirement was myth, that Wolf never stopped, never slowed, never became slow enough that young warrior could beat, could kill, could end. Erik left after 4 months, after 4 deaths, after 4 proofs. Moved to next village, next attempt, next hope, next failure waiting. Pattern established, pattern recognized, pattern accepted. Wolf couldn't hide, couldn't retire, couldn't find peace, could only move, village to village, death to death, number to number, adding and adding, until what? Until 100, until too old, until finally slow, until young warrior finally fast enough, until luck finally failed, until Wolf finally earned name, until actually died, until became ghost instead of wolf, until peace through death instead of peace through life. Probably, eventually, inevitably. But not yet, not today, not while breath remained, while hand gripped staff, while axe swung true, while Wolf lived, while legend survived, while 97 became 100, became 120, became whatever number was final, was last, was end. But that number hadn't arrived. That moment hadn't come. That death hadn't found. So Wolf continued, rode, moved, killed, survived, existed without living, breathed without peace, carried without rest, 97 and counting, 97 and haunting, 97 and proving that some men never retired, never stopped, never found mercy, found only blades, found only death, found only Wolf reflected in every surface, every cup, every shield, reminding, always reminding, forever reminding. Hedeby. Month 5, young man approached, not challenging, not testing, not drawing, just asking, teach me. Erik looked up, saw boy. 20 winters maybe, hopeful, desperate, foolish. No, please, boy insisted. I need to be strong, need to be skilled, need to survive. Men coming, bad men, killed my family, coming for me. Need to fight, to defend, to kill. Need Wolf to teach me, please. Teaching makes you killer, Erik said. Makes you wolf, makes you carry numbers, makes you haunted, makes you unable to sleep, unable to peace, unable to retire. Makes you me. You don't want that, don't want this. Don't want 97 ghosts following, forever following, always reminding, never forgiving. Better than dead, boy said. Better than family unavenged. Better than dying without fighting. Better than being prey. Please, 1 week, teach me basics. Teach me survival. Teach me enough to have chance. That's all? Just chance. Please. Erik considered, saw himself 40 years ago, young, hopeful, learning to kill, becoming wolf, starting path that led to 97, that led to here, that led to no peace, no retirement, no rest. Did he want that for Boy? Did he want to create another wolf, another killer, another haunted man? But Boy was right. Better than dead, better than prey, better than unavenged, better than helpless. If men were coming, if death was certain, if fighting was only option, then teaching was mercy, was chance, was hope, small hope, desperate hope, but hope. 1 week, Erik said. I teach basics, fast strike, true aim, tactical thinking, survival. Then you leave, you practice, you fight, you survive or die. But you don't become wolf. Don't become me. Don't kill 97. Kill only necessary, only defensive, only when absolutely no choice. Understand? Boy nodded, eager, grateful, doomed, probably. Because killing never stayed necessary, never stayed defensive, never stayed choice. Became habit, became skill, became wolf, became inevitable, became 97 and counting. But Erik taught anyway, because refusing was watching Boy die. Teaching was giving chance, and chance, desperate, hopeless, doomed chance, was better than certainty, better than death, better than nothing. 1 week, intense, exhausting, revealing. Erik taught everything: stance, grip, strike, block, breath control, movement discipline, tactical positioning, escape routes, reading opponents, calculating odds, surviving impossible. Everything Wolf knew, everything Wolf learned, everything Wolf became, compressed into 7 days, into crash course, into survival. Manual delivered desperately, hopefully, probably futilely. Boy learned fast, natural talent, or desperation making him focused, making him precise, making him dangerous. By day 7, Boy could fight, could strike, could defend, could maybe survive, maybe kill men coming, maybe defend, maybe avenge, maybe live. Remember, Erik said, final day, final lesson, final warning. Killing changes you, first one hardest, second easier, third natural. By 10, you're wolf. By 20, you're me. By 97, you're haunted. You're broken. You're unable to peace. So kill. Kill only when necessary. Only when no choice. Only when survival demands. Then stop. Then walk away. Then refuse to be wolf. Refuse to be me. Refuse 97. Be better. Be smarter. Be man who killed and stopped. Not man who killed and continued. Not man who became weapon. Became legend. Became wolf living. Be better. Please. For me. For yourself. For everyone you'll kill if you don't stop. Be better. Boy nodded. Understood. Maybe. Probably not. Probably would become wolf anyway. Probably would learn Erik's lesson. Stopping was impossible. Retiring was myth. Killing was path. Was skill that demanded use. Was weapon that demanded wielding. Was wolf that demanded existence. Forever. Until death. Until final number. Until actually wolf. But maybe not. Maybe Boy was different, was smarter, was stronger, was capable of stopping, of choosing, of refusing wolf. Maybe. Hopefully. Probably not. But maybe, and maybe was enough. Was hope, was reason to teach, was justification for creating potential wolf. Because alternative was certain death. And maybe was better than certain. Always. Forever. Boy left. Toward men coming. Toward fight. Toward destiny. Uncertain. Erik watched. Wondered. Worried. Had he created monster? Created wolf? Created 97 in progress? Or had he saved life? Given chance? Provided hope? Didn't know. Wouldn't know. Unless Boy returned. Victorious or dead. Survivor or wolf. Man or legend. Better or worse. Changed or destroyed. Time would tell. Blades would decide, fate would determine, and Erik would drink mead, would sit in corner, would wait for next village, next test, next number, next proof that Wolf never ended, never stopped, never died, just continued, forever, haunting, killing, existing without living, breathing without peace. 15 years later, 1067, Erik was 75, still alive, still moving, still Wolf. 97 had become 119, 22 more, 22 villages, 22 failures, 22 proofs that peace was impossible, that retirement was myth, that Wolf was eternal, was curse, was sentence, was fate. He sat in corner, different hall, different village, same bench, same stew, same hope, same disappointment, because someone would recognize, someone would challenge, someone would test, someone would die, adding to 119, proving to 120, continuing to 150, to however many, to whatever number was final. He thought about Boy from Hedeby, 15 years ago, wondered if Boy survived, if Boy killed men coming, if Boy stopped or continued, if Boy became Wolf or remained man. Never knew. Boy never returned, never told story, never confirmed or denied. Just disappeared. Into North, into legend, maybe into grave, probably into Wolf, definitely, literal or metaphorical, dead or legend. Either way, lost, gone, another casualty, another proof that teaching killing was creating death, was multiplying Wolf, was spreading curse, was making more like Erik, more haunted, more unable to peace, more sentenced to violence forever. But Erik continued, because stopping meant dying, meant giving up, meant admitting Wolf won, meant accepting curse, meant surrendering to violence. And Erik, stubborn, tired, haunted, Erik refused to let Wolf win completely, refused to accept 119 was destiny, refused to stop hoping that next village, next attempt, next corner would finally grant peace, would finally let Wolf die, would finally let Erik be. Probably wouldn't. Probably Wolf was eternal. Probably legend never ended. Probably Erik would die as Varulfr, would die killing, would die adding final number to 119, would die proving retirement impossible, peace unattainable, mercy unavailable. But he'd keep trying, keep moving, keep hoping, keep drinking mead in corners, keep being nobody attempting peace, keep being Wolf forced to violence, keep being legend living reluctant, keep being Erik the Broken. 60 winters when 3 strikes on floor, 75 now, 119 deaths carried, 119 reasons sleep failed, 119 ghosts following, forever following, until death released, until peace finally came, until Wolf finally rested, until Erik finally stopped, finally ceased, finally became actual ghost, dead, forgotten, free. Someday, maybe, hopefully, eventually, peace.